Is it okay to smudge with sage if I'm non-indigenous? Understanding the concept of cultural appropriation can be difficult to navigate. Where are the lines? Are there any? Is it possible to respectfully appreciate and utilize certain components of the indigenous culture? Watch this video to find out if it's okay to smudge with sage even if you're non-native. I'm Mallory Graham, Anishinaabe from tribaltradeco.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for new videos every week on smudging, the indigenous culture, and native teachings. We often hear the phrase cultural appropriation in reference to clothing, costumes, and accessories. But what about spiritual practices and rituals used for prayer? We often get asked questions like, can I use sacred medicines even though I'm non-indigenous? Or is it appropriating the culture to use sage if I'm non-native? We've helped thousands of people find sacred medicines to help them heal and achieve spiritual wellness, and how to smudge themselves, others, and their personal spaces. By the end of this video, you will know exactly if it's okay to smudge and use sacred medicines if you are non-native. In the most basic form, cultural appropriation is adopting aspects of a culture that are not your own and replicating them in an inauthentic way. Appropriation becomes more deeply troubling when members of a more dominant culture take on aspects of a culture of people who have been historically oppressed. But is it possible to respectfully appreciate and utilize certain components of an indigenous culture? Unfortunately, there's not one single answer, and absolutely everyone that you ask is going to have a different opinion on this subject. But we'd like to share what we were taught from our Anishinaabe elders and knowledge keepers on the matter of if it's okay for non-indigenous people to practice smudging and use sacred medicines. Now, the first point to note when you're trying to figure out if it's okay to smudge with sage if you're non-indigenous is to understand the Anishinaabe teachings of shared culture, openness, and diversity. Many teachings, including the medicine wheel teaching specifically, teaches us that all four nations on Mother Earth are equal and are in balance. The Creator does not discriminate, and the Creator celebrates the world's diversity. Sharing the culture and being open-minded, inclusive, and welcoming is what the indigenous culture is all about. As such, we believe that all people should enjoy the benefits of spiritual teachings that defines the indigenous culture and makes the use of sacred medicines so powerful. The second point to know when you're trying to fully understand if it's okay to use sacred medicines and smudge with sage if you're non-indigenous is to fully understand what smudging is. Smudging is an ancient traditional cleansing ritual practiced by indigenous people all around the world. In the indigenous cultures of North America, smudging ceremonies are traditionally performed using one or a combination of the sacred medicines: sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and tobacco. The smoke produced in a smudging ritual cleanses negative energies and thoughts, and it's commonly performed in everyday life and for ritualistic purposes. One traditional application of the smudging ritual that is commonly used today is for removing negative energy from a home and to cleanse your space or yourself after a hard day or a traumatic event. Or you can also smudge just to restore balance and calm to your home. The third point to know if it's okay to smudge with sacred medicines if you're non-indigenous is to know what the sacred medicines are. Smudging and sacred medicines can have a dramatic impact on your health, your spiritual wellness, and mental fortitude. We personally love to share these benefits with those who seek to listen carefully and learn consciously. As long as you're respectful, we firmly believe that smudging and the use of other sacred medicines is perfectly acceptable if you do not come from an indigenous culture. Do you want to smudge but you're not sure if it's okay to do so? Please share with us in the comments below. The fourth point to know if it's okay to smudge with sage if you're non-native is that the culture should be shared respectfully. The teachings of our elders tell us that The culture is meant to be shared and celebrated. However, as a non-native, it is your responsibility to be respectful. Acknowledge the origin of the culture and understand its importance. It's possible to practice and appreciate the indigenous culture and other spiritual practices without disrespecting them. More importantly, it's possible to appreciate the indigenous culture without perpetuating harmful stereotypes. What's important is that you do your research, be mindful, and strive to celebrate indigenous people and our traditions in a way that is culturally conscious. The fifth point to know if it's okay to smudge with sage if you're non-native is to set clear intentions for your smudge. Once you understand what smudging is and you've chosen your sacred medicine, you can then determine what your end goal for your smudging will be. During your smudge, you can include your verbal or mental intentions in your own personal smudge prayer. If you're not sure what to say, watch this video right here on what to say when you're smudging your home. For an example, if you had an argument with your partner, your goal or your intentions might be to rid your home of any of that negative energy that was created during your fight. It can also be to release tension and to move forward together towards a more positive future. Another intention you may have is to simply just cleanse your space from any harmful airborne bacteria and to feel more healthy and a cleaner air that you're breathing in. The sixth point to know if it's okay to smudge with sage when you're non-native is to give thanks to the Creator for the sacred medicines that you used in your smudging ceremony. Say thank you or chimigwech to the Creator for giving us these sacred medicines so long ago and for continuing to provide us with these sacred medicines. Here is when you can offer tobacco or sama, as tobacco is the direct communication line to the Creator. Therefore, it's often said that tobacco is the most sacred of the sacred medicines. If you don't have tobacco, then that's okay. You can just say chimigwech to the Creator or thank you to the Creator for allowing us to use these sacred medicines so that we can perform our smudge. It's also good practice to be directly thankful for what you intend to use the sacred medicines for and what your intentions are with your smudge when you're giving thanks to the Creator. Now, after knowing that it's okay to smudge with sage, you can feel absolutely confident when you're using sage or other sacred medicines to smudge and purify your home, others, or just the space around you. If you're wanting to learn more about the various sacred medicines and the smudging process, then download our free smudging guide at the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.